All right, let's get this party started. Hopefully everybody's here, hanging out, doing their thing. Ooh, burping. Need to get some writing in today. So let's do this. You know what I'm saying? This is a Sammy. Yep. There's Mr. Frank. There he is. I'm drinking mushroom coffee today, Frank. So you know what that means. I'm in the hospital with Joy today. What happened to Joy? What's the matter? Are you working with her? She's like, listen, I need a surgeon to step in today. Our surgeon is on vacation. You're like, you know what? I'll do it. As long as you're my nurse. She's like, I can't perform brain surgery without my nurse slash wife next to me. Shelly's in the hospital at the hospital right now with her Aunt Vicky, who fell. Blood transfusions. So does Shelly, starting next Wednesday. Shelly has anemia, which is why she's been tired and everything, and she's starting to things are starting to happen. Long story short, so she's like, she went to the doctor like, yeah, you definitely are anemic and you need blood transfusions for the next 5 weeks, starting next Wednesday. For 5 Wednesdays, she's got to go. But right now she's at the hospital because her aunt fell. Her aunt Vicky fell yesterday and messed up her leg and she can't walk. And now Shelly has to waiting for them to let her aunt out of the hospital to discharge her. And then Shelly's going to spend the weekend, at least the whole weekend, over there with the dog, taking care of her aunt. So I won't see my wife all weekend again. I didn't see her yesterday. So she came home last night. Often 7 o'clock this morning, out the door. Always something exciting. You know, am I right? Remember when we were kids and we had like the summer off, and literally you would get up, you would roll out of bed at like 9, 10, 11 in the morning, go grab some fruity pebbles, watch a little bit of TV. Your buddy would knock on the door, dude, let's go ride Super Gooses around the neighborhood. And you'd hop on your bike. I never rode bikes, so I'm just as a general. And he would just drive around all day and he'd be like, I'm hungry. Let's go to your house. Let's see if your mom can make us pizza bagels. And then you'd go there, mom would make pizza bagels. Then you'd ride around and be like, all right, it's getting dark. You'd hear the mom start yelling out. You'd go home and you would think, yeah, this is no big deal. But now you're like, I wish I could go back to, I wish my problem is Mr. Jeff's mom going to have pizza bagels for us at lunch? Like that was the big thing. So Joy went for lab work Wednesday. Her levels were so bad the doctors sent the police to her house at 5 a.m. to tell us we needed to get to the ER. Stat. Wow, that's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, she was supposed to start it Wednesday, last Wednesday, and they canceled on her. So she's just starting this Wednesday coming up. She's been like sleeping where she doesn't want to get up. We still have our Christmas tree up. I mean, that's how bad it is. She's like all pissed off. She's like, well, I got to get the tree down, but I just want to nap all day and I'm just tired. I'm just, my nails are cracking. My hair's falling out. All kinds of crazy shit going on. Sunny D. Yeah, Nick, you had to have Sunny D. Mr. Jeff's mom always had Sunny D with our pizza bagel. What else do you drink with a pizza bagel? Same stuff for Joy. Very exhausted. Well, that's weird, right? That they're both going through that. I bet you Nick's imaginary girlfriend is also going through that because she's imaginary. Yeah, so hopefully for both of their cases, not Nick's imaginary girlfriend, but for the real women in our lives, that this will help. Someone said that it hurts getting the transfusion. Speaking of transfusions, yesterday I go to get blood work done from my doctor. They couldn't do it in the office when I went like 3 weeks ago, so I go to one of those, places. And long story short, which is never the case with me, I hadn't eaten or had anything to drink since like 8:00 the night before. So first thing he's like, "Oh, you got to take a piss test." I'm like, "Well, I wish you had told me that. I went to the bathroom like an hour ago. I cannot go, so I can't pee." And now I'm all freaked out. I'm standing in the bathroom thinking, "Well, this guy thinks I'm like on drugs or something, and I'm not taking the test." I'm sure he gets that. Oh, I can't pee. I'm sure he gets that all the time. Plus, when I undid my pants, the friggin' button popped off. So now I'm walking around with shorts that are starting to fall off. So we go back in. I said, "Listen, draw blood. I'm going to close my eyes. Don't talk about it. Don't say anything. Just do it." And so, bam, he does. He pokes me, and I'm like, "Oh, that hurt." And then he does it again, and then he does it a third time, and he's like, "I can't. I have you been drinking water?" And I said, "I haven't had anything since 8:00. And so he was like, he did it twice. And then he was like, "I'm going to try one more time." And it hurt so bad, I passed out. Literally sitting in the chair. And I'm squeamish about blood, right? Like I pass out if I see blood, but I wasn't even seeing it. But it just the thought of it. In fact, I'm getting queasy now. I literally passed out. I don't know how long. Might have been a minute or two. And he's like, "You back?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, we can't. I can't do this. You're going to have to come back." And I'm like, "Seriously? All right." So then, I got my wife had driven me there, and she's just like, "What are you, oh, well, that was, that took you a while." I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't even get it done." I explained the whole thing. She's like, "Why didn't they come out and get me?" I'm like, "To do what?" I passed out. I didn't fall on the ground. I didn't hit my head. I just literally just leaned back and closed. My eyes were closed, and I was out. She's like, "How long were you out?" I'm like, "I don't know. How long was I in there? I don't know. A minute or two?" So here's the thing. Okay, I'll get back to your other comment. At your advanced age, you should water up hard before getting blood work, Mr. Frank says. Which makes sense. Common sense is I should have had a lot of water. Couple things working against me. Number one, my wife said the night before, "Oh, you have to remind her you have your blood work, so you can't snack or drink anything." I normally about 10:00 at night, I stop drinking anything regardless, or else I got to pee like all night. So about 10:00 I stop. If I'm going to bed about 11:30, 12:00. So I stopped at like 8:00. I drank like a bottle of water. The problem was we had gone to dinner. We went to Chili's, and I had like 3 sweet teas, and all I had was coffee, a couple of sweet teas, and like 1 bottle of water, like maybe half a bottle of water. So I had already screwed up to begin with. Plus, I am on the Rybelsus, and one of the side effects of the Rybelsus is dehydration. And so, really, I'm supposed to be drinking like my Propel lemon water. I'm supposed to be drinking. This is not a paid advertisement. I'm supposed to be drinking like 6 to 40 of these a day, or I get leg cramps at night and everything else. So I had already screwed up regardless the day before. So I was just like I was like I don't ever want to get blood work. Like, just take me off of the Rebels. If this is because of my pills, then just take me off the pills. I'd rather just die from high blood pressure or something. Just ridiculous. Ms. Frank says she's feeling better now, but she's on her third transfusion right now. Well, good. I'm glad that she's feeling better. That's a good sign. I will let Shelly know that. You did a Jay Wilburn. Yeah, exactly. If I had Sunny D, I would have just been like, give me that. I'll just do it myself. I'd be like, hey, listen, since I'm doing your job, go make me a damn pizza bagel. I should make pizza bagels. Pizza bagels would be delicious. Probably not a cinnamon raisin pizza bagels, though. That's why I'm like, give me plain bagels. She'd be like, what's going on? Something is up. Do you have a mistress that eats plain bagels? Because you don't eat them. Like, oh, and I need pizza sauce for pizza bagels. John Nadell used to make them all the time, and he would get all fancy. He'd be like, oh, look, little chunks of ham, and I'm going to cut the pepperonis into quarters so they're small. And I'm going to just, dude, throw some freaking sauce on it and some cheese and on a bagel in the toaster oven. But then after we left there, and here's the problem. So now I can't eat or drink anything when I wake up. I take my Rebelsis, and you have to wait 30 minutes. And I am it's 8:33. At 9:03, I can have my first sip of coffee of the day video. Like, I have this timed out. So, of course, I didn't have my pill because I was getting blood work. So I had the pills with me. I had the in my pocket, transporting drugs. And so as soon as he walked out of there, I took a pill. So now it's like 9:45. And I'm like, I don't want to go home and make coffee. Just stop and get coffee. And I was like, you know what? Stop at McDonald's. McDonald's is right there. And I'm hungry. I haven't eaten since 8:00 the night before. And I only ate half of my fajita trio from Chili's because saving the rest. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm gonna eat. I had 4 of the little shells, and that was it. I'm like, I'm just gonna eat the rest of this for dinner tonight. If we stop at McDonald's, what do I get? That's right. Big breakfast with hotcakes. I think it's the greatest breakfast ever for me. I just get so excited. Except here's the problem: my wife orders a hash brown, and she orders a. She doesn't like egg McMuffins. She ordered a sandwich. So she's got to go to work. So she's driving me home. So give me my sandwich. She eats her sandwich. She's like, give me my hash brown. I give her a hash brown. I get home. I set it all up. They only gave us 1 hash brown. They didn't give us the extra hash brown. So I got no hash brown. But the big breakfast with hotcakes was delicious. I had some coffee, and I didn't feel great. I felt better than I did. And then my arm was stiff. But then probably about like 6 o'clock last night, I'm like, you know what? It's because the Band-Aid is right in the crook of my arm. I better take this. I yanked it off. All the hair came off. Like that scene from 40-Year-Old Virgin. And then I ate the rest of the, I threw the fajita, it was chicken, shrimp, and meat, steak, with all the sides, all the fixings, threw them all in, heated it all up in a saucepan. And then I threw the 4, because I got 4 more of the shells. They give you 4. Like, there's no way this is. So she gave me other ones, so I had to unroll them, put them on, fill them up, and put them on in a skillet, heat them up a little bit. They were friggin' delicious. Probably more delicious than the next day, because everything had coagulated in the box. That's what I had. That's what I had for dinner last night. And then my wife was at the hospital all day with their aunt. She didn't come home till late. Got to hang out with her for about an hour, and then I'm like, I'm going to bed. I feel much better today. I took a shower and actually shaved this morning for the first time in a couple 3 days. I was gonna take a shower yesterday, but then I was like, I don't know if I could just stand in the shower like that. I was basically being a baby. I'm trying to finish this chapter. It is definitely not working, the one for me and Tom. And I'm like, it's Friday, so he's not going to write all weekend anyway. What am I killing myself for? Coagulated in the box was my Native American name in high school. I believe that, especially in the Native American land of Sayreville. Yeah, that does make sense. Definitely does make sense. So now my wife will be gone all weekend. So on Sunday morning, me and Peter Marsh will be doing a writing session, live, not live, but live for us on StreamYard. Mr. Frank, I will send you a message as soon as I get the message to him. But basically, without my wife here, God only knows when I'm actually just going to roll out of bed. I don't sleep well when she's not here. And then at 2 p.m. on Sunday, Happy Medium Books is going to have a couple of writers reading stories or something, hang out with Tim Gilmore, the legendary The Tim Gilmore. So I'll probably do that Sunday. So tomorrow's nothing. Tomorrow is probably reading, playing Minecraft until 4:15, I think is the first playoff game tomorrow. And I guess I'm going to miss whatever the 2 o'clock game. So that will be that. But not a lot of writing this week at all. Monday I didn't write. Tuesday I didn't write. Wednesday I wrote a little bit. Thursday I didn't write. Now it's Friday I got to write. Monday I did write. But I didn't... I wrote like a little bit, if you were on. I wrote a little bit here and a little bit there on stuff, so nothing that. So I'm reading Dungeon Crawler Carl now, and I'm enjoying it. Oh, okay. That's like such a huge series. At Happy Medium Books, they have like a whole bookshelf just devoted to that book. I guess there are several sequels as well, but everybody seems to absolutely love it. I literally know nothing about it other than it seems to sell very well. Happy New Year and whatnot to you too, Mr. Shotter. Appreciate you popping in. So I am on Twitch and YouTube live at the same time. That's awesome, exactly. But everybody seems to pop in and talk on Twitch, which is fine. My initial thing is that, and then I get a lot of rewatches on YouTube, which is pretty cool. So I kind of taken advantage of both of these at the same time. I am at 1,100 watch hours. I need 4,000. I am at over 2,800 subscribers now on YouTube. So I'm doing very well. I'm very happy. I need Michael Schotter. I need you to watch about 3,000 hours or less, 2,900 hours of my videos. How's the no self-publishing video doing? Let me look and see the actual numbers. Are you referring to the video, how I decided to no longer self-publish my works? I put the word how in front of it. 386 views, 27 comments so far. Lots of comments on this. I had one person who commented about using AI, and I'm like, yeah, I don't use AI. And then they found my email address and sent me this whole AI, why I should be using AI as a writer thing. And I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. And here's another comment on it now, so I can read this one and write back. I'm getting a lot of interactions with people on YouTube. Frank, you were a big help on that one as well. I appreciate that, you doing that. Michael Shutter says, I read the first one, the Dungeon Crawl, recently and enjoyed it. Michael Shutter says, I'll get right on that. I would appreciate it. Based on some of the early comments I saw, it kind of feels like you're one of the first ones saying the quiet part out loud. Yeah, right? As I'm reading these, everybody's like, you know what? You're right. Good. Let's see what happens. I'm getting a lot of. I'm also getting a lot of comments about basically how crappy traditional publishing is and that kind of whining stuff. And I'm like, whatever. Yeah, this is another person just whining about self-publishing and how I should basically how the traditional publishing isn't going to do anything for me. You know what? I don't care. Well, if indie sales are in the toilet, I don't imagine traditional publishing is experiencing boom times. No, but my goal in this, which I think I said, is to. I never want to, 30 years of doing this bullshit. I never want to at any point be like, man, I wonder what would have happened if I had done that. I wonder what would have happened if, would I be with a big five publisher? Would I be the next, Michael Connelly? Would I be the next S.A. Cosby? You know what I'm saying? That's what I want. I want to have a publisher who's like, I want you out there on the road. I want you to do signings, and they're not going to do like they used to do. But I want to be invited to the big conventions as a guest of honor, not some crappy one in the middle of nowhere that's a bunch of horror authors and it's a best friend with the guy who's running it, that kind of thing. I want to actually be, you are a guest of honor and at BoucherCon. We want you as a guest, that kind of thing, because your book is selling. That's all I want. And, there's a lot of really good thriller indie publishers out there that I can check out. Somebody had made a comment, well, what about ones that don't need an agent? I'm like, and you know what? That's fine. That's somebody that I already know a bunch of them that I would be interested in working with. I'm working on 3 books right now that I'm purposely trying to find an agent, but I have a billion other ideas. There's another publisher that they're looking for crime thriller novellas up to 30,000 words. And I'm like, I can knock something like that out if I have the right idea, So I'm excited. I know based on my self-publishing numbers right now, if it wasn't for my wife having a career, I would be working in some 9-to-5 job. And that's it. And I'm actually looking, for those who know, I'm actually looking for something part-time to bring in some actual money to this. And I look at it and I'm like, yeah, a lot of people are doing it. A lot of romance authors are doing it. Most of the people that we know realistically are not making enough money to survive and thrive in this business. You might think you are. You might go, well, you know what? I only need $100 a month to live with my grandmother. And that's fine. That's cool. I need more than $100 a month to live with my grandmother. I'm going to be honest with you. Both my grandmothers, deceased. Not even an option anymore. And this could all just blow up in my face. Who knows? I still have 3, 4 books maybe that are going to be self-published in the next year, a year and a half. It's not like I'm just totally giving up. I'm just not adding any more into the funnel. Or as Dawkins says, into the fire. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of advice from people that I don't know and people I don't need advice from. Which I knew was gonna happen, which is fine. Was dealing with work stuff. Let's see what I missed. Oh my God, Nick, you missed so much. So much. Crazy amount of stuff you missed. Heading to the car, still listening. Tell Joy I said hi and I wished her luck. And then slap her on the ass. You probably let a mic in the chat. Actually, there has not been a mic in the chat. Tall Mike, him and his girlfriend moved to Georgia yesterday. They were moving. I talked to him a couple times. He was moving, but he's like a half an hour away, so it isn't like he moved to Atlanta or something. He's like on exit 3 coming out of Florida. So now that she has her strength back, she's going to punch you. That was, for her, that was the incentive. She's like, I give up. I don't need this world anymore. They're like, what about your kids? What about your husband? She's like, who cares about them? The doctor's like, you're never going to get to punch Armand again. She's like, give me another shot. Which one is the tall one? You know exactly which one the tall one. I can't say it here. Nerdy Mike, oldest Mike, divorced Mike. A couple of them are divorced Mikes. He is a super nerd anime Mike. But yesterday we were supposed to, we normally go to lunch, and I was like, I don't want to go anymore. Especially after my debacle with almost dying on the table and seeing the light. God telling me, come to me. I'm like, no, I have too many words still to write. Hold off a bit. Nick knows which one then. Young Mike sent me a message the night before. He's like, are we doing lunch tomorrow? And I'm like, I'm not. And no one's heard from Win in forever. I know he's got a new book he's trying to promote. My Kickstarter launches in a week, less than a week now. I hope everybody checks that out. I got to start promoting that starting this afternoon, I guess. Get people involved. I'm only looking at $1,000. That would cover everything easily. Nope. Is there a tier for McDonald's flapjacks? So Shelly, yesterday I was like with big breakfast with hotcakes, and she's like, pancakes, and I said they call them hotcakes. I said I think it's a regional thing, which it is. She's like, I always call them pancakes. I said, well, you can also call them hotcakes. You could also call them flapjacks. There are many other things to call them. You know what? I call them delicious. IHOP now is doing the all-you-can-eat pancakes deal, but I'm like, you know, that's in theory that's great. I'm gonna eat 1,000 pancakes. You eat like 6 pancakes and you're full. Mr. Frank, why so many transfusions? I know little about it. Yeah, Frank. Nick says, I did watch most of your videos in the background. I have to go months back to make sure I don't double them. So you can watch each video 3 times, and it counts. You just can't watch them in a row. Then the algorithm won't count it. It will only count it as one view. So you can literally, right now, just start over and watch all of them again and again. Speaking of somebody who needs to watch all of my YouTube videos 3 times, George Martin in the house. George, not R.R. Martin, in the house. What's going on, George? So yeah, so that's that. I know the not in a row because I break it up with random music videos. So you're basically watching one of my videos, then a Rick Astley video, one of my videos, Rick Astley video. I get it. I do the same thing. Yeah, but you can watch each video 3 times, and it counts as 3 different watches, which helps me out. You just can't repeat it and repeat. So, but I appreciate you even just putting them on in the background, hitting the mute button, and just running through. So today, a year ago, it was like 25 hours of my videos were watched, which means I'm in a 25-hour hole when this day begins. So an advertised price for a Chinese buffet, $20. Still a good deal? If you can eat $20 worth of food, I could do it. Challenge accepted. Even with the Rebelsis not eating as much and losing weight, I could still probably do that. I don't know if you remember, George, ever going out with my dad, especially to a buffet. My dad would always go, all right, this is a $20 buffet. All right, I'm going to start with crab legs. That's about $15. Like, he would add it all in his head, and he would he'd basically be like, well, your mother's not going to eat $20. She'll eat like $5 worth of food. So I got to eat $35 worth of food. And that's how he would, not just, let me just go and just eat a bunch of really good stuff. No, he'd like, oh, this shrimp's got to be like $6. Nick says, I have no idea which ones I've watched more than once. It only marks it as watched or not. That's when you just do it. So what I do is I do a queue, and I just add all of them from the beginning, right? I'll add like 50 of them, and then I just let it run, and it runs overnight. And then when it gets down to like 10 or whatever, then I start from the beginning again. I just run them again. So a lot of them I'm watching that it's not even counting anymore. But you're better off putting them in, and if I don't know if I watched it or not. So Nick says, I wonder if they push white rice in that $20 juice. Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they have a ton of white rice. They're like, here, have some fried rice, which doesn't cost us a ton of money. George says, your dad was a great influence on me. I got Kathy watching videos. Excellent. Tell Kathy I said thank you. I don't know what those two things have to do with one another, my dad and Kathy watching videos, but I appreciate it. Great rice. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how, I know you asked Frank a question. He was obviously probably busy driving or not getting punched by his wife. But Shelly is scheduled for 5 blood transfusions starting next Wednesday for 5 weeks. I don't know how many. I know Frank said Joy had did her third one today. So I'm not sure what any of that, you know. What? Yeah. So apparently Frank's wife and my wife both are having issues. My wife, they said basically she is anemic right now, and she's having some issues, so she's going to start getting blood transfusions. Is this a popular thing, blood transfusions? Yeah, in the civilized world, not in Milwaukee. Hemoglobin at dangerous levels. Yeah, hemoglobin and regular goblins. Those are where some of my favorite Dungeons and Dragons characters. You stumble upon a cave filled with hemoglobin. What do you do? The clerk's like, I cast a heal spell. Roll a 20. Well, I hope all goes well. As do I, George. As do I. Frank, you know the technical terms of it. My wife basically dumbs it down for me. She's like, yeah, I got anemia and I got to go for these blood tests. I'm like, all right. Me, no blood transfusions for me. I'll basically just be anemic for the rest of my life. I'll basically be hemoglobic forever, so I don't pass out again. How is she feeling? Frank said Joy is feeling better. She's had her third one. Shelly has not done it yet. She doesn't start till next Wednesday. She's feeling awful now, though. Our Christmas tree is still up, which never happens. Nick says, has Shelly tried to eat more McDonald's hotcakes? 9 out of 10 grimaces say that should take care of it. She's not a huge pancake fan. She's a waffle fan, though. You know, maybe if we hit Waffle House a couple times, she'll be in. I've said this before. For her, waffles, pancakes, French toast. For me, French toast, pancakes, waffles. Slapjacks, exactly. I don't know what doctors have read as residency at Waffle Houses. Any doctor worth his salt in Florida and Georgia and Bama, roll tide, is going to have a connection to the Waffle House. We went to Waffle House a couple, 3 weeks ago. She likes the pecan waffles. I got waffles. I don't hate waffles. That's just not my choice. And since they don't have pancakes or French toast, I get waffles. I get the whatever the I think they call it the Fightin' Waffle House employee special. And it's like a couple of scrambled eggs, some bacon, some toast, and a waffle. I just get a regular waffle. She gets the pecan waffles. I didn't go to Waffle House for a long time. We went when I was with her in Atlanta several years ago. And the problem with Waffle House is and I don't know why, because let's be honest, you're probably heavy if you're eating at Waffle House. But the benches are so fucking tight, I could not sit comfortably in a booth. And so I was like, yeah, I'm never doing this again. So then the times that we did go, time we were on our way to St. Louis, and there was like a brand new one built on our way. And I'm like, well, let's go see. Maybe we can sit at the counter. But the booths were nice and roomy. And they just built a new one near us here because every block is supposed to have a Waffle House, just like in New Jersey, every corner is supposed to have a bar. And so, and then it was fun. I got to sit. Did they push white rice? No, it's not a $20 buffet. I don't know if that's a good. I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen George Martin eat over the years. I don't think that's a good move. $20 for a Chinese buffet for him. I don't think he's going to get his money's worth. Get this chapter done. In Wisconsin, every car has a wheel of cheese in the trunk in case of an emergency. You know what? That is good. In case it's like, oh my God, 16 feet of snow, middle of August. Well, you know what? Go pop the trunk, grab the cheese, and let's just sit here till we get a tow truck. 2 plates and dessert, probably not $20. No. Especially you're not doing like heaping plates, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're like, you know what? I'm eating friggin' in a Dungeness crab here. It's all crazy though. I mean, the Japanese buffet that they opened up not too long ago between here and the airport, that's I think $16 with your drink. So it ain't getting any cheaper. Fill the plates with crab rangoon. There you go, right? I don't eat crab rangoon. My wife loves it. I do not eat it. I'm a big dumpling, but not steamed dumpling, fried dumpling. I like a little bit of brown on it. That's my go-to. My go-to Chinese order. And my wife's like goes, "What do you want?" I'm like, the same thing I've ordered for the 12 years we've been together. Fried dumpling appetizer. I want shrimp with broccoli combo with house fried rice. It's a little upcharged, but I'm worth it. I also want a pint of lo mein. And I want 2 egg rolls. I get an egg roll, and if you don't get an egg roll, I still want another egg roll. Then I eat the lo mein and whatever is left from the shrimp with broccoli and whatever she doesn't eat. Then I eat that the next day for lunch and sometimes for dinner. All the almond cookies thrown in. I always like when we get that. I'm like, oh, they gave us 47 fortune cookies because we order enough food for 47 people. She always orders something different, though. She's like, do you think I'll like the bourbon chicken? I'm like, yes, because I'll eat the rest of it tomorrow. So, yes. Sometimes she'll be like, get something like really weird. I'm like, no, don't get that. Oh, that sounds gross. But I'm like, I don't eat that. I don't like that. So at some point she'll be home from the hospital, but then she's staying at her aunt's, so she's got to come home, grab the dog, and then grab some clothes for the weekend. I know Nick is rooting for the Jaguars to go all the way. Anybody else got any football predictions for this weekend? I am rooting for good games, and I'm rooting for the Jaguars to lose. So all these idiots shut up, which means they're going to win. Because so far I've been a total jinx. And every time I want them to lose, then I complain. Bills all the way. You know what? I got no problem with that. Finally. You know what I'm saying? First stop, knock out Jacksonville. I got no problem with that at all. I'm glad the Chiefs aren't in it. I'm glad my Raiders got the number 1 pick. Woo! Quarterback, here we come. I don't care at all about any of the other teams. Like I love them or I hate them, but I do want to see some I want to see some good football. You know what I'm saying? We're watching that Sunday night game, the Steelers game. My wife's like, "Who are you rooting for?" I said, I'm rooting for a good game here," and it was a damn good game. Baltimore Colts versus Houston Oilers. Usually, you know what? I'd go and see that. I'd go see that. There's a lot of people like, well, you're a Raiders fan, so you're not going to root for the Chargers or the Broncos, right? And I'm like, not necessarily that I dislike either team because it's not like they beat the Raiders. The Raiders beat the Raiders this year. You know what I'm saying? Packers play the Bears for the third time in like a month. What is this, baseball? Yeah, I know. I don't like. I guess I understand the theory behind it. Let's do all of the key division matchups at the end of the season. But I think like you're playing them and like 2 weeks later you're playing them. You play them at home. 2 weeks later you're playing them away. I don't like that schedule. I think you definitely want to have your last 3 games versus your 3 teams. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a good move. Because you just don't know. Like you're looking at some of these teams and you're like, oh yeah, we know the Chiefs are going to be in it, so let's do some key matchups. Blah blah. It doesn't always work. That being said, Packers Bears is a good game. Go Bears! No, again, I don't care on either team. I just hope that it's a good game. George says, can't watch the Bills because I don't have Paramount Plus. Getting to be ridiculous with needing everything streaming service to watch football. Yeah, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. What did you say? Take it back. I said I was joking, Nick. I said I was joking. You know, I'm saying Green Bay and the Jaguars is what's going to end up happening. I think legally, I don't think that can happen, but you know what I'm saying. Oh yeah, I forgot it was on Paramount. Luckily, we have Paramount Plus only because my daughter. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this. My daughter has it, so we watch Paramount Plus on her account. But yeah, it's annoying when I'm like, oh, it's 4:30, the game's on, 8:00, whatever, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, why is it not on? Then I gotta get my phone out and look. Oh, it's on Paramount Plus. Oh, Netflix has got the game. Oh, it's on Amazon Prime. Oh, it's on the WB. I don't think the WB is still a thing anymore, is it? Not that I ever watched anything on the WB, I don't believe. UPN, UHF. George watches Felicity on WB. Really? I mean, that's your thing, man. That's your thing. That's funny. Okay, so stop watching football in '85 with no regrets. What was that when the Bears won it? You're like, enough of this? Enough of the Super Bowl shuffle? I go through. So basically, I watch football because my wife isn't home on Sundays. That's the only reason I started watching football again. Maybe 3 years ago. Growing up, I was a huge fan. Growing up, Sunday was football and Monday night football. That was it. We didn't have these stupid Saturday games and all this other crap. George says I watch football because of you. Yeah, because we got into it. But the Raiders haven't done anything in many, many years. So, and I'm a huge baseball fan. So it's like, oh, baseball is over. We're into October, and the Red Sox are eliminated, or they won the World Series several times in the last 25 years. Oh, it's football. Nothing to get involved. Oh, the Raiders have already been eliminated. Okay. I got annoyed at all of the politics they were adding into everything, and everything they did was about the politics of it. And we're gonna do a moment of silence for this and that. We're gonna take a knee. We're gonna on and on and on. And I'm like, just play football. If I want this stuff, I'll watch the news. Sports should be a distraction from what's going on in the world. But they made it like part of their thing. And so that really turned me off. Plus, while all that is going on, every week you're seeing another football player beating up their girlfriend or something crazy anyway. And I'm like, so why are we doing this? I got into fantasy football for a while with coworkers and ended up killing it for me. It's hard enough being angry with your home team, but speaking that out across the whole league is draining. Yeah, I don't do that either. Fantasy football, I played for several, when Yahoo was free. For many years, I did it, and I'm just like, oh, good. This running back needs to, score 3 touchdowns against my team. So now I'm rooting for this guy. And I'm like, oh, I got to figure out which quarterback I have this week, and on. And I'm like, nah, it's not enjoyable watching games. It gets dumb real quick, yeah. And I was never good at it. I was never, ever. I used to play fantasy baseball, but man, that it's like every single day you are moving everybody up and down, and these teams are off, so I need a starting pitcher, and it just like, man, 162 games plus all the others, 180 something. You got to do like 6 straight months of every single day crunching stats and all that. I'm like, yeah. And then there was always people that were just kicking the crap out of you from day one. I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested. I don't need another job. But I'll watch the what is it, like the NFL Net, like the Red Zone or Game Day Live, whatever they call it. So I'm not even watching a game. I'm not putting on CBS, NBC, whoever has a game on. I'm not even watching like, oh, the Jaguars are on. I don't care. I'm watching that for game to game to game to see the big plays and that. I also mute it because the guys who talk on that are idiots. But most sporting events, I mute the sound. Especially if what's his name is announcing Sunday nights. Chris Collinsworth. Shelley hates that guy, and so do I. He's just so damn annoying. I prefer fantasy bowling. Yeah, fantasy bowling that's hot right now. USFL. They don't bring the drama. Well, sometimes there's drama. That bowling drama. Mouse is allowed. Oh, George. Yeah, we George and I had season tickets to it wasn't the USFL, it was the World League football, the New York, New Jersey Knights. And we would go to the games at at Giants Stadium. It's very, very exciting. I think we went 1 year. I think that league lasted like 3 years, and then they moved it to overseas. Good time. Good times. How will I ever know if you hit a next page? I'm going to have to just say it. This is no good. Losing purpose in life. I know, and that basically your purposes in life were tenuous at best. Trust me, it ain't going to happen today. I mean, look, this is, you can see where I am. I probably need another like 20. Go ding for next page. All right, you know what? That'll work. If I get to next page, I will do that. That way nobody misses anything. I want to remind everybody to subscribe or resubscribe on Twitch, and also to hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and also on YouTube to watch several hours of my videos today if possible. I don't care if you put them on mute in the background, because I'm losing like 25 hours or so from last year because they drop off. They go 365 days and it moves. So I'm losing like 25 hours. I start in a hole. So please do that. I know there's value in Twitch, but love YouTube. I can do other things, have my headphones and use my phone to comment. There you go. You know, keep watching videos. Have you done any playlists on YouTube? Those can help to pump up watch time. Yeah, so like this, when it gets dropped, it'll go on the a playlist called YouTube Live, and also a playlist called Twitch. I have my coffee of the day one that I use. I have a writing one. I have a book reviews one. I have a movie reviews one. So I have like 8 or 9 different playlists that let me tell you how many playlists. Let me just tell you. There are playlists. I have writing, Minecraft, Java. I only got one video on there. YouTube Live, Walk and Talk, where I answer questions. I haven't done those in a long time. TV series review, book review, unboxing videos, coffee of the day, Twitch, and Armand chats with by interviews. So there you go. That's all of them. And some of them I have a lot of. I have about 1,100 videos. So I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying. Michael Schotter says, nice. Let's see if anybody has asked another question on here. Yep, just the same guy complaining about traditional publishing. We'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? George says, I've heard that the titles of the videos means everything. Hits certain algorithms. That is definitely true. So if you notice, a lot of my videos now, I use the word how because that's how I decided to no longer self-publish my books. Was another one. How I deal with rejection. How I co-write with others. How much coffee do I have? How I review other authors' books. How now, brown cow. That's not one, but that should be one. That eventually will be one. That's a big word to use, or something similar to that. People want to feel like you know what you're talking about, like you are an expert. Even if you're not an expert, act like you're an expert. Smart. Not smart enough that I figured it out. Smart enough that I watched other people doing it. That's how I figured it out. And I only really I watch writers because there's a ton of people that are like, how I made $5 billion per hour on YouTube, and I'm like, yeah, you're some financial guy, or you're a hot chick with giant boobs. Yeah, I get it. I know how. I can see how you're making money. Where's the how amazing are the Jags video? You know what? If they win the Super Bowl, I'll make that video, Nick. How's that? How's that? Ugh, I hate everything about them. Shaw's always like, why are you so mad all the time? I'm like, I don't know. But my last video, how I decided to no longer self-publish my books, I got 390 views so far, but 28 comments. And the one I did Wednesday, how I'm planning my 2026 writing goals, 398 views and 14 comments. My 2025 book releases, 1,025. So my 2025 top 10 books, 1,597 views. How I deal with rejection, 946. I mean, should I go on? How I co-write with others video, 27,207. How I review other authors' books, 11,814. So I'm definitely getting some views. I just need to keep it going. How I Met Your Mother. Exactly. Exactly. That'll be a good one. I'll do that one after I do the how much I love the Jags one. I also don't know why I get annoyed when they call them the Jaguars. I'm like, yeah, it's Jaguar. I just hate everything about them. I hate their softball team color, uniforms. I hate their players. I hate everything about them. And I don't even know why. I want to be honest. I don't even know why. At least hating the Chiefs makes sense because they're in the same division with the Raiders. They've beaten the Raiders several thousand times over the last 20 years. I get that. You know, if I should hate anybody, it should be the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Chiefs because they're the other three teams with the Raiders there. I don't get it. I don't get any of this. Ooh, I got 3-4 more lines here, and then page is done. So get ready, Nick, get ready. You also don't like Jackson native Shinedown, Jacksonville, which isn't Jackson. Maybe something to it. Yeah, I don't like. You know what? I didn't. In all fairness, until you mentioned that, I didn't even know they were from here. They did a cover of something. I don't remember what, and I thought, not bad. I'm a huge Limp Bizkit fan. They're from Jacksonville. I'm not a huge Limp Bizkit fan. I like Southern rock. This is where it all started, right here. Skinner, 38 Special. Allman Brothers lived here for a long time. Blackfoot, Molly Hatchet. I could go on and on. Also, in all fairness, George, you know, I grew up in New Jersey. I don't know if you knew that. I grew up in New Jersey. I didn't like any Jersey sports teams, except for the Devils, maybe. I did love me some New Jersey bands, though. You know, Bon Jovi. You know what I'm saying? Let me get to this page. We keep talking. We can keep talking, but just saying. What am I supposed to say? Oh, ding. Next page. Would Nick disappear now? All right. I'm going to finish this chapter. Then we'll call it a day. Everybody just got quiet on me. Exactly. Testing this thing on, Michael Schroeder. Exactly. We're all having great conversations. Now, it looks like a couple people dropped off. I don't know what's going on here. Just brewed some coffee. I recently started drinking Kirkland brand from Costco. I like it. Oops, sorry, wrong channel for this. I don't know if I've ever had their brand of coffee. Did you see Nick's next page or my on-screen celebrations thing? No, I did not. It doesn't show it on here. That's the problem. It shows it on Twitch, but it's not showing it on the StreamYard because I haven't put together. I apologize. Next page, Nick. Next page. You know what? And I doubted you, and that's on me, my friend. That's on me. I apologize. Thank you for the congratulations celebration thing as well, Michael Schroeder. See, sometimes I can see, like when you post a nice picture of me, I can see that. But I'm not seeing other stuff at times. All I have is I have what you see, my webcam, and then over here on the right is both. It's just mixed. I can see if you're on Twitch or if you're on YouTube Live when you're making comments. So obviously, if you're on YouTube Live, you can't see the Twitch comments. So I always, what do you call it? So I'm always, that's why I always repeat things. So Michael says, yeah, I think it relays regular chat messages, but not Twitch system events. Right. Nick says, so you didn't see my make coffee noises either. This Mondo coin is bunk. Mr. Frank wonders, what if he's on Friendster? You know what? If you're on Friendster, I would love to be on Friendster as well. I think it can't still be a thing, right? I imagine. I remember they tried to bring MySpace back. Remember that a few years ago? But it just basically looked totally different. And I don't think that really went anywhere. Oh. Well, I'm over an hour, which is good. George says, do you get any information on the viewers of your videos on YouTube? Yeah, I mean, if I do an analyses of the video itself, it will tell me a whole bunch of different stuff. I hardly ever look. Except if something's like going crazy, and I'm like, all right, what are the people? What are their ages? Is it male? Is it female? Is it unknown? Chupacabra, whatever. Google Plus, yeah, I remember that was going to be that was a huge thing for about 4 minutes. How's that blue sky thing doing? I still use Buffer, and I still buffer out. I still post videos on my author page on Facebook, Buffer, and Threads. And every now and then, somebody will comment or something, and that's the only reason I go to that. Rod McGilwray, he does a drive-by like on Blue Sky. So I'm like, oh, I got 47 likes. That's all just Ron. He's like the new Chuck Buddha of, let me just go in. I haven't been on your page in a week. Let me just like every single thing on your page. But I'm not seeing anything helping me with book sales at this point. So I got to remember to start putting my Amazon page on everything. I'm also going to be honest with you. I haven't done anything really with my website in a long time, and I think I'm just going to leave it static and not really worry about it. I don't really think it's doing much of anything. I have my buddy Chenzo who kind of runs it. His company runs, and I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Mr. Frank says, Blue Sky is drama free, right? That was the thing. We'll all go there, and it will be miraculously be able to behave ourselves as a group. And it was for like a good 2-3 weeks. And then everybody who was on Twitter that was posting BS political stuff went, oh, here's a cool new place I can post my BS political stuff. So it's pretty much the same thing now. There are better, easier filters for getting rid of stuff, but you're doing a bunch of blocked words, okay? And then I'm still seeing those because people are not using those. They're like, here's the new thing that our president did. I'm like, I blocked his name, you know. But here's something the old president did. Well, I blocked his name too, and I'm still getting messages on that. I think the only way a new social media network could take off is if it banned all posts about news, politics, and was a true media-only platform. Yeah, but then they're not making any freaking money. That's the main thing. As much as they're like, yeah, we want this to be blah, blah, blah. No. What was that other one? There was another one that was started as well. I can't think of the name of it now. And I think but that was all of a sudden there was like, my feed was all naked people, men and women, just tons and tons of, it was like, it became like a porn dating site. It was like, what the hell? Here's something Vinnie Vincent did. Right. Even though I blocked Vinnie Vincent, probably the first thing I blocked. I still get Vinnie Vincent news. Constant Vinnie Vincent news. Every time I open Blue Sky, here's a Vinnie Vincent news article. What was the name of that thing? It was like there's no moderation. We're not going to ban anybody. We're not going to block anybody. And it was like, oh, good. So every lunatic that believes that the moon landing was faked and every person should own 47 AK-47s now is on here spouting about America. We can't seem to grasp that we make social media unpalatable. Yeah. Because we're all in our own little world, Mr. Frank. Nakedpeeps.com. That could have been it. Joe Dubwood, any update on Gut Punch? Yeah, I'm going to tell you the update. Gut Punch will be available on my Kickstarter, which starts, I believe, on the 15th, so in about a week. Next Thursday, my Kickstarter goes live. So the Kickstarter is it's the 10-year anniversary of the Dirty Deeds. The first book was released. So I'm doing a special edition with the original cover on it, and it will be signed and numbered, and it's only as many people as buy it on this Kickstarter from January 15th till February 15th. That's it. If one person does it, I'll have one copy of it. 1,000 people, I'll have 1,000 copies. Also, one of the tiers on there, if you go to my Kickstarter, is Gut Punch. and there will be it's only going to be initially going to be released as a print or ebook version of Gut Punch. So that will be one of the tiers, and also the Dirty Deeds box set, all 12 books in one ebook box set. And again, that will only be available through the Kickstarter. And then there's other things on there, and then we're going to do some other goals and stuff like that. So that's Gut Punch. Gut Punch at some point, probably next year, will be released on Amazon, but I'm holding on to it. So the only way to get a copy of it, and the only way is that way. Ms. Frank says, I'm only going to release books by the chapter now, and you have to pay $200 per chapter. That makes sense. You know what? It works. So, for instance, if it was an Armand book, it would cost $10,000. Yes, based on the 50 chapters that I do. So that's my Kickstarter, which I will start posting and promoting about in the next several days. So look it up on Kickstarter. Search for my name and Dirty Deeds, and that will be up there. And again, the Dirty Deeds, the 10th anniversary cover one, signed and numbered, there will be no more of those ever. This is a one-shot thing. So if you don't get it, you don't get it. I will not have extra copies, none of that. Obviously, it's print only. And Gut Punch and the Dirty Deeds box set will be out probably end of the year, next year, something like that. So grab them now. Make use back scratcher as a stretch goal. Shelly Rosamilia in the house. Everybody say hi to Shelly. She is on YouTube. But I will relay, if you're on Twitch, I will relay. George Martin also on YouTube. He says hi. He jumped in there and said hi. So that's my Kickstarter. So feel free, no matter what, at least just check it out and hit a follow on it. Shelly says hi, George, back. This is getting heated in this chat room. I got to be honest with you. Michael Schotter says hi, Shelly. He uses the proper hi, comma, Shelly. He uses the right. George just said hi, Shelly. So, I mean, who knows, really? Who knows where he went to school? Michael Shutter says Shelley deserves proper punctuation. Exactly. Unless she graduated from Middletown High School North. I drank that entire cup of mushroom coffee. Been on almost an hour and a half, and nothing happened. Have you ever thought of a Hollywood actor who could be perfect to play one of your characters in your books? Yes, several times. Several books. I've had people who have mentioned certain characters. Nick Zinn says, now there is a good question. It is a very good question. When I wrote, for instance, when I wrote Shakedown, I was like, you know what? I want to come up with actors. So when I'm writing the book, I can just picture them and it'd be easier to. And the main, Clayton Conway, the main character in it, the ex-cop, now Repo Man, was based on the dude who was in Friday Night Lights. And he was in that other thing set in Miami. I can't think of his name. I gotta look it up. Kyle Chandler. I pictured Kyle Chandler as the main character. And then The bartender was Marissa Tomei, but a younger Marissa Tomei. Not that she's old, but you know what I'm saying. Walton Goggins. No, I've not based a character on Walton Goggins. You know, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could honor him enough with my writing to write a character for him. So, like when I wrote Dirty Deeds, in my mind, that character was Bruce Campbell. That's kind of how I wrote that character, as Bruce Campbell. Yeah, Shelley says Kyle Chandler. Yep. Yeah, Shelley was actually there when I went through. I probably have the notes here somewhere. Basically, every character had a person attached to it, which I normally don't do. I'll normally just write characters. Every now and then in my mind, there might be like, oh, this would be, you know, well, Willem Dafoe would be great in this. I don't know, whatever. I do love me some Walton Goggins, though, Nick. I got to tell you, I watched the last 2 episodes that just came out of Fallout, and he's just delightful to watch. As Frank says, how he answered Nick's questions on Twitch. You know, I bet you I get 10,000 views on that. George says, I know if Burt Reynolds was still with us, you would fit a part in him. Obviously. Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise would be in every one of my movies that I made in my books. JoJo actress, Rick. No, there was no Rick. I'm going to tell you, Joe. Nick, JoJo, and Rick were both created by Tom Duffy. So I don't know who he had in mind on those. And he also created Johnny Bell. So I created most of the other characters, but I didn't have anybody in mind when I think we wrote that series, the Johnny Bell series, or then the Tides one after that. I really had nobody that I was like, oh, this character is definitely like this person, you know. Every now and then I'll hit on somebody like that. But yeah, if Burt Reynolds was around, he'd definitely be in all of my movies. Ad break, missing your answers on JoJo and Rick. That's why I want to remind everybody to subscribe or resubscribe on Twitch, and also hit the subscribe button on YouTube. When Joe comes back, then I will let him know that as well. For that. lot of ads, Joe. I need money. All right, finished another page. Back finally. Yeah, JoJo and Rick was created by Tom. Johnny Bell was created by Tom. Fiona was definitely created by Tom. But I created a lot of the other characters, but none of them specifically that they were somebody like an actor or actress or something like that. A reminder for everybody to subscribe or resubscribe on Twitch so you don't miss anything. You don't have to run through those ads, and also subscribe on YouTube. We should have the first book, I believe, Painted Black, of our next trilogy should be out in a week or so. George says, maybe it's weird, but I was seeing you as the main character when reading Dirty Deeds. Who told you to say that? Shelley? Yeah, everybody reading the book is like, this is you. This is you. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Except Hollywood couldn't afford to pay me to act. You know what I'm saying? So I had to like, yeah, Bruce Campbell maybe would be better. Kevin James, you know. But yeah, and basically the character is definitely me. I'll just say it. It's definitely me. And I got to add him back in on for a book, maybe 2 of cameos in the Down and Dirty series as well. That was fun. Going back into that character says maybe a young James Garner. Maybe a super old James Garner, like 150 years old James Garner. Mr. Frank gave Joe 100. I don't even know what that means. All right, so I've hit an hour and a half on here, so maybe I'll go longer. You know, maybe that's the secret. Go longer on these, and then there's more to watch. Nick, if you watch all 3 of these, if you watch this video 3 times today between your Rick Astley videos, you give me 4.5 hours of more towards my goal. And again, 25 hours is dropping off today, so I'm trying to get as many hours as I can on the YouTube. I will not be on this weekend, I don't believe. I mean, there's always, if I'm like bored tomorrow, I might like, you know what, I'm just going to jump on, and so who knows. Sunday, I will be writing with Peter Marsh, and then Happy Medium Books for their event. And I will see everybody on Monday. Does watching live count the same? Yes. Yes, I think these hours all, I believe they all count. But you know what, George? After, watch a Rick Astley video and then watch it again. Waiting for the live stream watch of the Jags game. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Mr. Frank says, I don't mind a longer one. What else are you doing, right? Working? I'm going to try. So my goal will be to try to hit an hour and a half coming up. Maybe that's the secret, right? I just got to make sure that people are watching it for the hour and a half, you know, that they're jumping on. But Monday, I will be back on, and I'm going to do both again, which I know sucks for the Mondo coin, and I know all that stuff, but do me a favor. I'm going to trust you. If you hit next page, if you hit any of the Mondo coin things, then just also say that you posted it, and that way I'll know and I can do what I got to do. All right, everybody, thank you for hanging out with me. I will see everybody on Monday. You have a great weekend, and go Bills. Crush the Jaguars. Please, dear God, please.